Hello and welcome. My name is Hannah, and today we are playing around with colored pencil and alcohol markers. And of course, I'm very excited about it because we're drawing creatures today, and you know that I love drawing creatures, especially with some really cool lighting, so that's all a part of it today. I mean, I can't promise that they all have really cool lighting, but I mean, there's one. There's one that has cool lighting. And I'm really excited about that one, okay? The other ones are great too, but that one it has my heart, you guys. Now, I am doing this spread a little bit differently than I usually do, and I'm doing all of the sketches first, and then I'll do all of the rendering after the sketches. Actually, now that I say that out loud, is that usually how I do it? Is this any different? But in reality, when I was doing these sketches, you cannot believe how much fun I was having. This very first one was like, it hit every perfect spot for me, and I love how it turned out, but specifically his front legs were like perfect to me, and I felt like I was going cross-eyed drawing them because I was just like, these are so cool, these are so cool. So with the second one, I thought it might be cool to redraw the legs, but tie them to a different creature and see if it will turn out looking completely different. And guess what? It does. So that's cool. So normally I draw my circles to figure out where like the torso's gonna go, where the butt's gonna go, and where the head's gonna go. But since I didn't do that, it allowed me kind of the freedom to decide in the moment what it's gonna turn into. And the whole time I was thinking that these would be the front legs, the big long ones that are going down to the ground. But I was like, oh my gosh, what if these are the back legs and he has tiny little chicken arms? And I thought that was so funny that I had to do it. And without meaning to, I turned him into a dinosaur. I am using Polychromos colored pencils today. Normally, my favorite colored pencils are the Prismacolor Premier ones, but I recently just bought this bigger set of Polychromos, and now I can officially say that I like both of them. They're both my favorites now. They do behave differently than each other because the Prismacolors are wax-based, and these are oil-based, so they're just different, and they're both good. Okay, so in the video, I did do 3 circles, but this time I did the circles like completely on top of each other. And when I connected them, it looked like an octopus head. I am so scared to draw octopi, so I never do. And this kind of allowed me the freedom to be like, oh, I don't have to make an octopus that looks like a real octopus. I can draw it how I want to draw it. And that was so fun. He does turn out to have a little bit of like a donut ear, which I think it looks really cool. Looking at him, I think that his legs are too short. I mean, he's got one long leg. So maybe he just really likes swimming in circles all day. So that arm is like super buff and therefore longer. That's his problem. It's not mine. I think he's actually really cute with the stubby legs. Okay, so let's move on to the final sketch for today before we move into rendering them. This one was really weird because I didn't know what I was drawing. It just was like my brain shut off and my heart took over. And apparently my heart really likes to draw dinosaurs, which is so funny because I don't consider myself a dinosaur girl, but I just kind of let it flow and let whatever happened happen. And she ends up having a skirt, and I think it's really, really cute. Also, look at her tiny head. It's so small. Oh geez. Anyway, so I want to talk about one more thing before we get on to the rendering. Okay, so if you've been following along, you know that I'm kind of struggling a little bit with my eyes, the hollow eyes that I draw, and not feeling as connected to them as I usually do. And I started to feel a little bit too emotional about how, like, it felt like my identity was being lost, and I was being really dramatic about it in my own head. But because of this spread and because I let go of the hollow eyes and I'm not worried about that anymore, I'm not sure if this is going to make any sense, but I was able to kind of relearn that it wasn't just the hollow eyes that I love so much. I love all of it. I love the sketching, I love the wiggly lines, and I love the weight of the different weights of line that you can put down to create interest. So yeah, it's kind of funny because I end up going super, super wiggly on the lines, and I basically all I'm trying to say is I really like wiggly lines. Okay, so this first creature I'm rendering up with the colored pencils. That's all I'm gonna do for this first one. And you guys, I chose a weird, I did something weird, and I don't know if I like it or if I don't like it. I mean, I know now how I feel about it, but I'm not gonna tell you, okay? Now, I did those 3 puddles under his feet. And at the time, I thought, hey, it would be really cool if these were like portals and he could like portal hop. But I didn't really consider the full length of how much I needed to consider it before I actually drew it. So he has 3 separate portals, and that's just it's not possible, okay? He can't have 3 portals. He needs 1 portal. And since I already drew the 3 and these pencils don't erase, I had to just kind of fly with it. And I mean, okay, I'm not going to tell you how I feel about it, okay? But let's just say I wish that I thought fully about how to do the portal aspect. I mean, it looks okay with the puddles. That wasn't what I was going for, so I feel a little disappointed about that fact, but it's not about that. Jeez. Anyway, so I don't have a full story for any of these, but I do have like a little bit of a personality for this guy, and I think he's really cute. First of all, he has a huge heart. He has the biggest heart of any creature around, and the problem is that he's a little bit jittery and very nervous. He definitely sees everything that's going on around him and pays attention, and he's aware. But he doesn't always know exactly the right move to make to help the situation, so he finds himself kind of staying out of it a lot. So he's always kind of in like this half step forward where he wants to take action to help anybody around him, but he doesn't know how to help, so he does hold himself back a lot. Now, I think that if his portals functioned the way that I intended them to, he might have a different story, but, since they're just puddles, maybe that could be part of his story, is that his portals don't work. Okay, that changes the story completely. Okay, so that's why he holds himself back a lot, because he can't use his powers for good the way that he wants, because his puddle portals don't work. Oh, that's so sad. Oh man, okay. I feel for this guy so much more than I already did. Also, that was the one that I was so excited about with the lighting. The other ones turn out really good still too. It's just that lighting situation on the last guy was just like, it hit every spot for me. Okay, so for this second one, I wanted to initially go really heavy on the reds, orange, and yellows for him. So that's what I started off doing, and then I thought that it might be really cool to have like a really colorful face. So the face turns out completely different, and looking back, I do regret a little bit that I did that, because I ended up really liking the face and wishing that the body matched the face. It just looked too different of styles almost. And also, I didn't realize at the time that I was doing the sketch that he would turn out to look so much like a dinosaur. What are those little ones that run around that hunt in packs? The ones that we see outside all the time. Anyway, it's not exactly like it. They do have a bigger like talon situation going on, and their arms do have claws. But looking at it, now that it's done, it's too close that it seems like that's what I was trying to do. And that's not what I was trying to do. I just thought it would be funny for this creature to have tiny arms. So looking back, I think that I wish that I would have tried if the legs were the front arms like I was initially thinking they were going to be, and see what the back half would have looked like being really huge in the back. But it is what it is, and ultimately I have to keep reminding myself that this is all for fun. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And I mean, if I really, really wanted to, I could just do it again and do it with the way that I wanted, you know? A little bit random, but kind of on subject, is it's monsoon season here in Arizona. And so sometimes when I'm filming, the lighting is really like yellow and sometimes it's not. And that's just because it's sometimes really dusty outside, and it makes it look yellow. So I'm sorry if the lighting is like really bothering you, but yeah, that's why. There is something that I haven't mentioned yet that I really want to try, and I'm going to end up doing it on this guy because I don't love him, and I want to try it on something that I don't love. So in the future, I'm going to come back to him and try something with him, but for now, he's almost done, and then I'll move on to the octopus one. Okay, so I don't think that I've mentioned it yet, but my thought that I have for like the experiment that I want to try today has to do with a comment that somebody left. I'll try to find it and put it on the screen, of the way that they do backgrounds and the way that they achieve kind of like a blurry background. And I thought it was so interesting. So they do colored pencil first and then alcohol marker on top of it. So my original plan when I started this spread was to do that, was to try a full rendering of colored pencils on all of these creatures and then do alcohol marker on top of them and see what would happen. And I don't end up doing that to all of them because, first of all, I end up loving the first one, so I didn't want to alter that at all. And then as I finished the second one, the dinosaur tiny one, I started to look at the clock and be like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have time to finish this before I need to put it up for you guys. So I realized that I needed to kind of time crunch a little bit. So I only end up doing my experiment for the second one. And then I moved forward with the third and fourth one with alcohol markers because I also need to practice with alcohol markers and just kind of have fun with them too. So yeah, that's kind of like my thought process going into all of this. And some background information, not that you asked for it. Anyway, so this guy turned out so cool, and it makes me really excited to want to try, what are these called? Octopus? I want to try them again, and it was unusually freeing. And it also makes me laugh because who's to say that his last two legs aren't both pointing straight at his 4 o'clock. And maybe there's like a little angry fish over there that he needs to double flip off with two of them. And that's why we can't see his other 2 legs. And that just makes me chuckle a little. Anyway, there's the one that's coming off, the tentacle that's coming off of his eyes area, his nose. I was tempted to turn it into a nose, like an elephant nose. But I didn't, and I don't know that I wish that I did. I'm glad that I told you so that it can live in your head and you can think, what if, just like me. Now, I'm not just saying this because he's the only octopus I've ever drawn, but he's the coolest octopus I've ever drawn. And I know that doesn't mean much, but I'm really proud of this one, and I think it turns out really cool. And had I thought about it, it would have been cool to turn his ear donuts into headphones. So anyway, so let's move on to this fourth one. I don't know what the problem is with this one, but every time that I touched it, my brain just turned off. And at first that was like a really good thing, and like really awesome stuff happened with the sketch because of it. But for some reason, my brain can't figure out colors with this one. I think it's the skirt that threw me off because I wanted the skirt to be see-through, but I think also the color that I chose for underneath it maybe should have been the exact same color that I chose for the skirt, because Because if the skirt is see-through, you shouldn't be able to, you know what I mean? Like there shouldn't be that big of a difference. Anyway, so I ended up going really, really dark on the body, darker than I initially wanted to. And then I chose a green color for the shadows. And my reason for doing that is because that's what I do with colored pencils. I usually choose the opposite color on the color wheel to create the shadows. Now that I'm trying to avoid black, that's my solution. And I really like how it makes the shadows pop a little bit more when you do that. But I'm finding that it doesn't really work that way with alcohol markers, or maybe it does and I just chose maybe too mid-tone of a green instead. Maybe I should have done like I don't know. If you know, what do you know? Oh my gosh, you know what the problem was? I was treating this like pink and not like purple. Okay, so that's why the green didn't work. I should have chosen like a yellow, which, okay, how would that work? Alcohol markers are still kind of a conundrum to me. I don't quite understand them. But I mean, that's why I practice with them, is to get better at them and learn a little bit more about them every time. But at this point, I showed this to my husband and he's like, she needs hair. She looks like she should have a wig. So that's what I did. It's funny because my husband he doesn't consider himself an artist by any means. I mean, I beg to differ because he has a good eye when it comes to certain stuff. Mainly, he has a really good sense of humor. So I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I just have a crush on him so much. By the way, his name is Zach. I always call him my husband, but I mean, he has a name. Anyway, so I'm almost done with this one, and then I'm gonna work on some little mini backgrounds. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna go around and give all of them an alcohol marker blob, and I thought it would be really cool to leave a little part of their body outside of the blob, so it looks like they're kind of coming out of their picture and into real life a little bit. That was kind of my plan. And then I want to create some blurry backgrounds just with alcohol markers. I forgot that I did this right at this moment, but this is the part where I practiced going over the colored pencil with alcohol marker. And what I found was that it didn't blur the colored pencil very much. And the reason why it didn't is because I'm using Polychromos, which is oil-based. And I should have known that, but I didn't think about it when I started this. And I think now that I've pieced it together, I did know that. I just forgot, which is something that I love about my brain, is that I forget things all the time, but it's also like kind of annoying. Anyway, so I do want to try this again with Prismacolor and not Polychromos and see how that turns out some other time. But now that I have the blobs done, I wanted to go back in one more time and add just a little bit more character to each one to kind of give it its own element, I guess. Also, guess who got really nervous after last video and changed their sweater? So that was a conscious decision just for this video because I'm a nervous little chicken, I guess. Anyway, so this one it threw me off again for the color, so I had to do a second color on top to kind of make it the way that I pictured it. And then I went back to this one and tried to add in some more like smoky type swirls, just something kind of simple to be in the background but not take away from the actual creature. And then now that she is dry, I went back and added in some yellow stars because that's so her personality. And then we are done. So this is how the whole spread turned out. This first one, 100% my favorite. I loved it so much. And I do kind of wish that most of these were creatures that didn't exist, but you know what? It's really not that big of a deal, and we still had a ton of fun. I think it's a bonus that the whole spread looks really cool, and I think that's because of the alcohol marker blobs that I did around them. These are all the markers that I used for the whole spread. I always think that's interesting, and also what's really pretty is the shavings from all of the colored pencils that I shaved. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Toodaloo!